Good evening, Shawnee Mission East High School and the students of the economics class there. I received a message from your teacher saying that you guys had some questions for me, so I wrote them down. And I just wanted to give you the answers to what you were asking. But before I do so, I wanted to make sure to thank you guys for watching the film, for reaching out, and just supporting the cause and understanding that this really is a true problem that we face in America. So the first question was, are you still on welfare? So thankfully, I'm not currently on welfare. It's been a few years, actually since I wasn't eligible to receive it in the film. I haven't been on welfare since, and it has been a struggle. It is something that is up and down when you seem to face the same challenges that you know would be different if you were still on welfare, and seeing that, you know, when you're actually working and still facing these struggles, that perhaps if you were, you wouldn't have them as severely. But no, right now I'm not on welfare. So what I did to get off and stay off, I kept the job, and even when I didn't keep a job, it was more so my pride after being in the film and exposing my life to everyone. I sort of built this wall where I felt like I'm never supposed to be back at that point again. So it became very difficult to bring myself to the point to admit that I needed the help. There was a point where I was on welfare. However, it was just to get medical assistance for my kids, to make sure that they had medical insurance. But as far as food stamps or cash assistance, I just went without, and worked really hard to try to get a job, even if it wasn't the best paying job at the time, to sort of sustain our family. How are my kids? My kids are crazy. No, they're big. They are 10 and 12 now. They are amazing. They teach me something every day. It's hard. It's hard being a parent. It's hard watching them grow, knowing all that we've been through and how strong they are because of it, and living with the guilt at times, knowing that maybe a lot of the things that they went through could have been avoided. Thankfully, they're very understanding children. They're still kids, so they have their moments. But I think that them seeing me struggle helps them to become more resilient and to know that if mommy can get through this, she can get through anything. So I'm really proud of them. What misconceptions do many people have about families on welfare? I can talk about this question all day. When I first started advocating, I was judged a lot. Not only because of the way that I looked, but because I hadn't graduated high school. So a lot of people felt or treated me like I wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't supposed to be speaking out. What I had to say wasn't important. And even the people in my neighborhood, I received judgment from them. There was no support. A lot of people believe that people who are on welfare because they want to be on welfare or because they want to cheat the system. And I fought so hard to sort of show people that that's not always the case, that because you read in the media or see it on TV, these interviews of people who are abusing the system, that doesn't define everyone who is on the system. Welfare was made to supplement and not to be a sole source of any sort of income. And unfortunately it is for plenty of families all over the country, working families, families in the military, families with two working parents, single parent households. It's just something that when you don't have enough, they're able to help you. People thought I was dumb. People thought that I just didn't deserve the time of day. I was lying about my story. I was just trying to get a handout. So I was constantly trying to prove myself. And as I grew older, I learned that it sort of brought a lot of issues with validation and made me feel like at times I had to prove things to myself. I questioned, am I smart enough? Am I good enough to try to move forward, to try to make changes? Does my voice really matter? Who am I? Why is this important? Why am I the person to do this? Is anything going to come of this? So it was hard. And I've done a lot of question and answer sessions where people have challenged me, insulted me, disrespected me, degraded me. And I've had hundreds, maybe thousands of people praise me for my courage, for my determination, and because they do see that welfare is just something that I needed. It's not who I am. It's not who I'm meant to be. It doesn't say anything to the character of who I am or the caliber of person that I am. It just solely meant that I needed help. I was born and raised into a family that was already on welfare. So it was all I knew. And once I worked hard enough to get to a point where I can get off of it, I still give credit to the system. I would never bash the system. Yes, there are a lot of things that needs to be changed. There are many ways in which people don't understand the system. But it put food in our mouths. It was a way to pay for medical expenses that I would not have been able to pay for on my own. So it's been hard, and being a woman of color, being a woman who has tattoos, all of that comes with its own stigma. But I refuse to not be myself. And in making this video, I had to shoot it about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times because I was afraid of how I was going to speak to you. But ultimately, my goal was to just continue to be myself. The person that I am today is very different from the person who was in the film. I've grown, I've matured, I've learned a lot, and I've grown to be stronger because the fight didn't end because of the film. Life changed, but it was nothing permanent. I really had to humble myself and understand that life happens to everyone. And no matter how high your highs can be, you're not immune to the lows. So it humbled me. But the last question is, how has your life changed since the film? So, since the film, I have spoken not all across the country, but in many different states. I was able to fly on a plane for the first time. I was able to speak at the White House. I was able to speak at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. I was able to speak in different universities all across the country, different religious sanctuaries, churches, synagogues, and sort of teach people that although my story is something that matters and is something that was brought to the attention of the United States and people across the country, this is something that happens everywhere. It's something that happens in every state, in every city, and people are just, as I said in the film, afraid to talk about it. I've been very blessed. I lost my job again after being in the film. So when you guys saw me doing the interviews for the food stamp hotline, I actually lost that job. And after that, it granted me the opportunity to continue to travel with the film. So ultimately, it was just another blessing. But after that, I wasn't working. Truth of the matter was, I had to find another job. I had to go through the struggle. I had to be put in the place that I was when I first started this journey, and it was the hardest time of my life. I was given a scholarship to go to college, which turned out not to be a scholarship at all. But I believe everything happens for a reason. So it gave me the courage that I needed in that moment to go to school and to finish and to graduate. So it was one of the proudest moments that I ever had in my life. I had never, ever walked across a stage to receive a diploma. So it was very empowering to see that I was able to do so. Currently, I work for the city of Philadelphia. I work for a managed care organization that pays for mental health and drug and alcohol services for people who have insurance through welfare. So I hear the stories every day of people struggling. This struggle is a little different because it isn't in relation to food. However, we do hear those stories as well. But it's full circle. I've learned about social determinants of health and how things that are in your environment determine or help determine basically what will happen to a person, how you grow up, how it affects your future. And I like what I do. Ultimately, it's not what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, but I am currently working. I am trying to continue to speak across the country. So I built a website, Izquierdo.com, and there's lots of information on there about where I've been. There's photos, there's videos of different places that I've spoken at. There's an opportunity to give donations. There are personal blogs of mine, poems, stories. The speech from the film is also on there. Today I'm just a mom. I'm back in school. When I graduated with an Associate's of Art, Associate in Liberal Arts with a concentration in criminal justice. I'm now studying for my Bachelor of Science in criminology. I can't wait to finish. But I'm just trying to make a difference. I'm just trying to continue this journey, and I'm very determined to live a purpose-driven life, which to me means not just working a job, but continuing to change lives, help people. I'm getting into teaching workshops to sort of bring out the courage and the story of other people and show them that they can do the same thing I did. They can be doing better than what I did. They can teach me things. But all in all, I'm just trying to become someone that my children will be proud of and leave a legacy behind that they can see that mommy not only tried to work for them, but to make a difference for everyone. Thank you. I don't even know how to say hi. I think I'm getting big.
Say good evening to the students.
Okay. Are you recording?
Yep.
No, start over. Gotta get the nerves out. Okay. Wait till the helicopter go by. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3. Buenas tardes. ¿Y cómo están? Me llamo Barbie Izquierdo. Hasta luego.